Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good morning. First of all, I would like to say thank you for coming to my presentations. It's great to see all of you guys. And now I would like to extend my greetings to distinguished examiner, Miss Amina as the first examiner, then Mr. Hidayat as a second examiner, and Mr. Budi as a finalist and my advisor. So today I'm going to present Raisa Syahidah research with title Exploring the Use of Google Classroom to Promote Student Engagement in Content-Based English Classroom. So let's get started. This is a test, so let's start with the background of study. Why Raisa did this research? The first one is because student engagement plays an important role in achievement and learning. Secondly, student engagement are difficult to build in EFL student at school in digital era, and student and language teachers don't speak English every day. Relate to the last reason is English is not the first language for Indonesian students. So it is hard when English is not our mother tongue, then it's hard to build engagement in English classroom. So this is a research question that Raisa used in this study. The first one is what are the factors that influence student engagement, and secondly, what kind of tasks or activities can be used in Google Classroom to increase student engagement. So let's move to literature review. The definition of student engagement. According to the National Survey on Student Engagement, it is a frequency of students participating in activities related to education practice and understanding it as a pattern of involvement in various activities and interaction both inside and outside classroom during his career in school. So after we know what is student engagement, there is some dimension of student engagement. The first one is behavior engagement, is defined as involvement in learning and academic assignment, including behaviors such as effort, concentration, attention, asking questions, and contributing to discussion in the classroom. Second is emotional engagement, is the effective reaction of a student in class, such as interest, boredom, happy, sad, and anxious. And the last is cognitive engagement. It is defined as the level of student interest in learning. This includes attention and purpose in approaches to schoolwork and willing to direct in effort needed to understand complex ideas and master difficult skills. And there are some factor affecting student engagement. The first is external factor. Includes school level and class contact, and the internal factor, it is include individual needs that contain the need for interconnection, the need for autonomy, and the need for competence. Next, we talk about what the definition of Google Classroom. Google Classroom is apps for educations, product that has advantages including free, easily to use both for teacher and students because it has the appearance and use of social media, and it's integrated with other Google applications such as Google Classroom, Google Forms, Drive, Documents, Slides, YouTube, and others. And when we use Google Classroom as a media for teaching and learning, according to IFTAH 2016, there are the advantages of Google Classroom include the first, easy to use, save time, cloud-based, flexible, free, and mobile friendly. And if Takar also mentioned the disadvantages of Google Classroom include requires the internet, reducing student social learning, material error accurate, requires high hardware, software, and internet network specifications. And let's talk about the research methodology. This approach of this analysis as qualitative analysis, and the research design used in this study is ethnography. The primary data were the questionnaire, interview transcript, and recording, while the secondary data is where picture from the documentation, and the respondent of the study are students from university in Bogor. And for the data collection, the study used open-ended questionnaire, interview, and documentations. Open-ended questionnaire permit the respondent to specific associate degree opinion while not being influenced by the researcher. Interview conducted in Indonesian language. Documentation, it's captured by capture the screenshot of text or activity in Google Classroom, and videos of teacher explanations. And for the data analysis, this study used Miles and Haberman theory in 1992, include data reduction, data display, verification, and conclusion. For data reductions, it starts by explaining, selecting the basic things, focusing on something important to the content of data. Data display process showing data simply in the form of words, narrative table, and graphics, and conclusions verified to the notes taken, and furthermore, it's brought to the perfect conclusions. And for the data result that 100% participant agree that Google Classroom is easy to use, 52% participant agree that Google Classroom enables them to access the course's material, and 47% participant agree that Google Classroom is a convenient and user-friendly, and 58% participant agree that Google Classroom access them to submit their assignment, and 42 participants agree that Google Classroom requires no training, and the last is 56 participant 100 as 5,600 participants agree that Google Classroom make it easier to avoid future academic. And for the finding in discussion, we found that several factors that can be influence student engagement in class, including the user-friendly of Google Classroom features. There's a lot of features that easy to use in Google Classroom, supportive and full service lecture, and active and collaborative learning process. And we also found some relatively effective activities for increasing student engagement. The first one is discussions. In this discussion, we conduct a posing question and question feature, persuade student to discuss and question and answer. After persuading student to answer the lecture questions, or we conduct directing student to answer or give each other comments and feedback in Google Classroom to the discussion will run well. And follow-up discussion, it is we conduct two open discussions in WhatsApp group for further discussions. And the last thing that we found in the study is the advantage and disadvantage of Google Classroom. For the advantages that we found from the data analysis is the first, material are stored and can be accessed anytime. Second, reminder for assignment and deadlines. And third, it helps students to more multitasking. And for these advantages for Google Classroom, we find that Google Classroom is visually quite boring. That also that we also found that the internet connection, some of students have the internet connection when they use Google Classroom, and some participants also said the app version is better than the website version, and the participant also noticed there is that personal chat features in Google Classroom. So for the conclusions, the participants of this study agree that Google Classroom usable features really help them engage in activities. They show positive feedback in the study. Despite of the classroom, Google Classroom also has some disadvantages such as the internet connection problem for some students. And for the suggestions, the researcher would like to suggest teacher and lecturer who are using Google Classroom to be more creative in creating class activities. It would be an honor for the researcher if the finding of the study can help them to creating a good class activities to improve student engagement, not only in the content in this classroom, but also in other courses. I think that's all for me. Thank you for all of your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.